Defeat and failure is the greatest thing that could ever happen to you. Your attitude, how you look at the world, will determine what you get in life. Really, what brings success, ultimate success in life, is kind of realizing something from deep within. You have a purpose. You understand that there's something that you were born to do. If you have that attitude where obstacles are actually the path forward, nothing's going to stop you. If you let people continually kind of pin you down, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is your type, etc., it kind of limits your freedom. Any bad thing that fate brings you, you have to find a way. It's like alchemy. Using the philosopher's stone, you transform that into gold. Where enough time passes, nobody remembers you.
No one.
200 years from now, no one will even know who Lewis Howes was or Robert Greene, you know? And so all traces of you are gone. And so you have to be able to take every kind of negative experience or emotion in life and find a way to transmute it into something healthy and positive. So how do you take that thought and turn it into something life-affirming and productive? And so my way is, okay, that very well may be, I better make the most of the time that I have. Because in 200 years, I'm nothing, right? Also, through my books, I will have a life that will go on. I will have a legacy. Work on that. Think about people reading you in the future. So I use it, any kind of negative thing. This is sort of the idea of amor fati that I've talked about in my books. Any bad thing that fate brings you, you have to find a way. It's like alchemy. Using the philosopher's stone, you transform that into gold through a mental process. And the idea is you have a viewpoint, a perspective. It's like the lens on a camera. And it's through that lens that you view the world and you view people and you view events. And no two people see the same event in the same way, right? And so your attitude, how you look at the world, will determine what you get in life. So if you're focusing on all the obstacles, if you're focusing on the government, if you're focusing on COVID, if you're focusing on this person didn't give me that thing, my parents didn't give me that thing, that's you creating your attitude. You're building it. It's like a crystallization process. This crystal starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger as each new crystal is added. And you crystallize this negative, defensive attitude towards life, and that's what you're going to get. And there's simple examples of that. So if I'm kind of come to this interview and I'm sort of defensive and I don't really feel good about Lewis and I'm not sure what's going to happen, you've picked that up on me because you're a very astute person, you're very sensitive. You pick it up. And so you're not going to be very friendly to me. So my initial attitude creates a reaction in you, which is negative. It starts from me. But because most people are kind of paranoid and don't have that self-awareness, they'll think, God, Lewis is such an asshole. He's so cold. Why is he? But it's coming from me. And you're not realizing it. So you create how people react to you. You create how negative circumstances affect you. If you have that attitude where obstacles are actually the path forward, nothing's going to stop you. But it's all how you look at things. It's kind of a mental process that you switch to seeing the positive side. A lot of it is getting back to your attitude and towards thinking a particular way. So defeat and failure is the greatest thing that could ever happen to you. Because when you're successful, you tend to not learn anything. You think, wow, my book, my business got so much, did so well. I've got the Midas touch. Anything I do is going to be great. And look, I've got all these people around me, these sycophants saying, Robert, you're wonderful, you're great. I love what you did, your book's fantastic, et cetera, et cetera. And slowly, I don't learn anything. And then my next project is a disaster because I've become grandiose, because I'm not really moored in reality. Failure teaches you your limits. It makes you realize what you did wrong. It shows you what you could do differently, you know? So failure or defeat, you know, great generals in battle, that's what they would learn. But the greatest general in history, I believe, was Napoleon Bonaparte. And Napoleon Bonaparte had 10 years of the greatest success anyone has ever had in military history, from 1796 to 1806. He was on the top of the world. He crowned himself emperor. And then he had 8 years or 10 years of most abysmal failures. It's because it all went to his head. He lost touch with who he was. He lost touch with his own military strategies that were grounded in success. He became too conservative. That's the other thing that success will do. It'll make you conservative. It will make you think you have to hold on to what you've done and keep repeating it. And the world, success and great things happen by being not conservative, by being open with your ideas and challenging yourself and always trying something new and being willing to change.
What would you say are 3 questions we should ask ourselves when we face some type of tragedy, some type of big loss, failure, near-death experience, breakup? What do you think?
Well, I don't know if I can get to 3, but I'll start with 1. The first one is, could it have been worse? I mean, let's say I broke up with a girlfriend and she had very embarrassing pictures of me and she posted them all over the internet. Well, thank God that didn't happen. You know, or I could have died. That's always the last one you always say. Could have been worse. I could be dead, right? As long as you have your body and your mind together, you can recover. I tell people, and you can recover from the worst possible disaster, even public humiliation, you can recover from. Because fortunately nowadays people have short memories and they'll always remember your last success. So things are never as dire as they appear to be. So it's, could it have been worse? And what is the worst scenario that could have happened? Well, luckily that didn't happen. The next question is, like, I would say, what is the lesson I could learn from this? So if it's a breakup with someone, and I've been through them, we all have, it's like, instead of thinking that it was just putting blame on her or yourself, it's thinking of, was this the right person for me? There's going to be someone else, right? First of all, maybe I wasn't actually the right person for her, and maybe I was partially to blame for this. So what can I learn about relationships going forward? And what can I learn about what I want from a relationship? Maybe I want something a little more stable, or maybe I need something a little more exciting. To sort of see, to be future oriented. And that's really critical, because I talk a lot of people who are going through hard times with, is always being future oriented. So we tend, when we're in the moment of a bad thing, like a breakup or a failure, or, you know, like something like a disaster, is we're so enmeshed in the moment. And when enmeshed in the moment, things seem much larger than they are. But with time and distance, if you look back 2 years ago, it doesn't seem so big anymore, right? So you need some perspective, and you need to understand that 2 years from now, you'll be on to another business, or you'll be on to another relationship, and things will be much better. So be future oriented. That's one of the key things, key elements about people who are very successful in life. They're always sort of oriented towards the future. What's the next project? What am I going to be doing in 5 or 10 years? As opposed to obsessed with the past. I think people who have the hardest time in life are so obsessed with the past. That scumbag, he destroyed me. He ruined my last project. That blah, 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 blah. They hold on to all this crap. Right? They're so weighed down by the past. Their parents, they whine, they complain. People who are future oriented, I'm on to the next thing. It's like they say in basketball, next man up. Our star player was injured. All right, next player, come on, let's just go. We got to win this game, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of the thing, is being future oriented, and so you can't beat yourself up. You can't, like, God damn it, why am I like this? Why can't I just be like Robert or Lewis said? I'm not like that.
Yeah.
So when things first happen and they're bad, I beat myself up for several weeks, but it only lasts for several weeks, and then I pick myself back up. So be patient and understand that right after something bad, you're going to be depressed. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to feel bad about yourself, to even blame yourself. you're going to pick yourself up and be patient about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a process.
Concentrate on maintaining a high sense of purpose, and the success will flow to you naturally.
Yeah, well, a lot of people get caught up in sort of immediate emotional things like, am I getting enough attention on Instagram? How many followers do I have? Am I making as much money as other people? And if you get caught up in your 20s like that, you're going to end up in a kind of a dead end in life. Because really what brings success, ultimate success in life, is kind of realizing something from deep within. You have a purpose. You understand that there's something that you were born to do, something that connects you to your childhood, to your deepest inclinations. Right? And so in your 20s, you're not in a hurry to make money or increase your Instagram followers to a certain number. You're in a position where you're going to learn as many skills as possible. You're going to follow that purpose, which for me was learning how to write and trying journalism and trying Hollywood, etc. And you're going to take your time and you're going to be calm but intense about that. And then eventually success will come. And when it comes, it's like you're able to then go to the next step because, you know, it's the purpose that guides you, not the money and not the fame. And we all have that feeling like you're trying so hard to get something and the effort is actually kind of messing you up, right? It's kind of getting in your way. Like in a seduction setting, if you're so nervous and you just really, really want to please that woman that you want to seduce, and that's all your energy is going into, you're going to give off vibrations that are going to be kind of off-putting. You're trying too hard. Your intention is too obvious. But if you kind of let go, it's more a process of letting go inside of yourself and not in realizing that by letting go, oftentimes when I'm blocked in my writing, I'm trying too hard. If I take a step back and I relax and I listen to some great music or watch some football on television, suddenly the idea comes to me because I let go of that inner tenseness that kind of envelops you. Whenever you are facing like a project or something that you're creating or building, there's a level of anxiety involved. Like you're not quite sure of what you need to do and you're anxious for getting the right results, etc. And this kind of tightens you up from within. And what happens with most people is before you start, this is really has to do with your creative process, which is extremely important no matter what line of work you're in. So when you start your project or a problem that you're solving, you're generally only thinking of 2 or 3 possibilities. Let's say A, B, or C. And A will be something that you've done a million times before, so you're naturally going to be thinking of doing it that. And B might be something that you heard somebody else do or whatever, and maybe you'll try that out. And C is some kind of odd thing that you probably will never try anyway. And so you're going to follow these paths, right? Because you already assume what you think is the answer before you've started. And negative capability is to start with a different mindset, is to let go of that certainty, is to allow yourself to have something, to have some mystery, to tell yourself, I don't know the answer. I don't know exactly what the right path is to follow. In fact, I'm a bit flummoxed by it. And so instead of trying A, B, or C, maybe I should also think of D and E and F. Maybe I should look into what other people have done. Maybe I should look into what my enemy, the person I hate the most, has done in this situation. Maybe I should entertain ideas that I normally would never entertain. And so the ability to keep a sense of openness while also feeling a little bit anxious about the answer is the essence of negative capability. So you're not in a rush to get an answer. You're open to all kinds of different possibilities. Particularly as you get older and you've had some success, you think that you know the right way. You know the right way to write a book or do a great podcast or whatever. And so you get kind of closed to other possibilities. We're creatures, we're animals that judge people by appearances. And we don't like to admit that, but we pick up vibes from people's appearance, their face, their body language, their presence, and we kind of judge them based on that. And once we've judged people, that's kind of who they are in our mind. And if you let people continually kind of pin you down, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is your type, etc., it kind of limits your freedom because their opinion of you will actually constrain what you can do, right? Your reputation kind of precedes you. And so you want to turn this around and think of your image as something that you get to play with, as something that you get to create. It's like your greatest work of art. You want to take control of the process of how people can judge you, right? Which is, you think is a little bit different. You should, well, I should just be who I am. But you're never exactly being who you are. You're always in some ways crafting your words and your persona and how you present yourself depending on the people you're dealing with. And I'm simply telling you here to take greater control over that, to make it more conscious, to think of yourself as a kind of actor in this world, right? And your acting is, you're not just doing anything, you're not just being yourself, but you're learning to play a role, and you're learning to sometimes change your image, right? And some of the most powerful people in this world, you know, like a David Bowie, for instance, or a Pablo Picasso, they were constantly changing their image every 5 or 6 years. It didn't make them seem crazy. It made them seem incredibly powerful. We wanted to see, what is the next incarnation of David Bowie? Who's he going to be now in the 80s, etc.? It's very powerful, right?